wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living.
What's going on, everybody? Hello, I hope all of y'all are having a fantastic afternoon, evening, morning, wherever it is where you're at right now. Give me a heads up. Let me know how the audio is real fast. I did a little setup of moving stuff around in the office, let's just say. So give me a little heads up. Let me know how the audio sounds. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it off? Whatever the case may be, give me some indicator at the earliest convenience that you can. And I just wanted to say hello, good morning, and good afternoon. My name is ATX Crypto, bringing you another market pulse in the evening. I actually had a fun little dental visit today, so that was always fun. If you've ever gone to the dentist, oh God, it's just always so great. It's just always so great. 55 for dentists. So much love for them. My teeth need it. So, hey, you know what? Do better is what they always say is what I'm doing. So looking to make it better for myself, getting healthier, all that good stuff over time. And folks, we're back at it again. Bitcoin had a pretty big drop over the weekend, as a matter of fact, right? People were freaking out. People were absolutely losing their minds seeing Bitcoin drop at the levels that it dropped. And what's kind of hilarious on it is that's crypto, right? At the end of the day. That is absolutely crypto. I appreciate you letting me know the audio is all good, John. There you go. Logi33, what's up? HEX T-shares, what's up? Absolutely. Jason Smith, hello. Tin Top Stressful Struggle, what's going on? Let me say hello to some beautiful people. How you doing, dude? I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, man. Checks my pulse, says LFG Pulse Nation. Absolutely. Jason Smith says, let's get it. So perfect. So Bitcoin actually had a fun little drop off over the last few days. And I was actually kind of curious as to what would happen going into Monday. And the reason why I think Monday was an important day in particular was the ETFs, or the ETFs have actually been doing a pretty damn good job buying up the Bitcoin on the weekdays. That's usually when things start kicking off. So let me put this on the little 4-hour chart just so we can kind of see how it went down today. Heck, I'll even break it down on the daily. We'll keep it simple. Whoops, wrong one. Boom. So we got the daily here. And over the weekend, Bitcoin actually fell anywhere between 74,000 with the good old drop all the way down to 64,000. Currently, the price of Bitcoin sitting at 67,722. So we did see a little bit of an uptick, not too much in reality. So that was just kind of hilarious. But so many people just lost their mind over a 13% dip. It was one of the craziest things that you can possibly imagine. People were like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Because you got a bunch of retail investors who started buying up once the ETFs were buying, as a matter of fact. And so it was kind of a crazy little factor that kind of showed itself pretty early on in this one. And you can actually see, even right now, we are still in an extreme greed situation. So it's very common for things to do a pullback. It is very common, as a matter of fact. So you can see Bitcoin going back down to 67,735 right now at this point in time, with the low today so far of 66,584. And if you don't know what that means, it means a whole bunch of people got absolutely liquidated over the last 24 hours, even over the last 72 hours in reality. But you can see in the last 24 hours alone, there's been 273 million people getting liquidated. That's a wild thing. I'm reading the chat right now. I got to go back to the chat for a second, y'all. I got my boy Pulse. I got the disciple in the chat. He is in fact a dentist as well. I believe Tam is too. So it's $1,500 for a crown. Get the fuck out of here. Disciple goes, hey now, again, it's your teeth. People spend $1,500 on a TV and a gaming system, but not their health. And that is 100% fact. And, you know, I put off my dental work for quite a long time, as a matter of fact. So just a little background of myself. I ended up having too many cavities to count. This is like my 4th visit to the dentist. Today they did a deep cleaning because all the dental work was finally completed. And so they did a deep cleaning today, and god dang, the deep cleaning is freaking crazy. I appreciate the dentist, man, because you actually get a lot of your health benefits from your mouth, folks. You actually get a lot of it. It can actually affect a whole bunch of stuff, as a matter of fact. So shout out to the people who take the time to actually do the dental work, because I'm sure they see nothing but nasty teeth the entire time, right? They see nothing but just nasty individuals the entire time. So I thought it was kind of comical. I was thinking about it today as I was actually at the dentist. Like, damn, I bet my boy just always sees nothing but jank teeth. You know what I mean? They don't ever come in where someone comes in like, damn, you got perfect teeth, bro. You don't need to do nothing. Like, you go to the dentist when you actually need some help. Yeah, dude. Deep cleaners are real. I hate doing them. Actually, LOL. I feel like I'm torturing someone, bro. It felt like torture today for sure. There was a point in time where I was like, I can take pain, but this sucks. They numbed up my entire mouth. I can't imagine back in the day getting any dental work done. By the way, this is like a whole segue completely outside of crypto for a second, but I can't imagine getting any dental work done and not having some anesthesia of some degree, whether it be the numbing, whether it be knocking me out, whether it be just multitude of things. Yo, I can't even imagine doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, dude, that's what I had to do all day. Oof, that's crazy. You just torture. It's like, it's, they get up in there. But hey, at the end of the day, I need it. It's much needed. They wouldn't do it if it wasn't necessary in the first place. They got to go through and torture you for a reason, because you kind of ended up janking up your own mouth in the whole time. And anyways, long story short, I can't imagine getting some work done. I remember my dad back in the day, he ended up getting his root canal done without any anesthesia. And I was like, bro, no way. Like, numb me up, dude. I don't even care. Like, numb me up, knock me out. I don't care what you got to do. I've actually ended up having, a little backstory about myself. My jaw is too small for the amount of teeth I have. And of course, being that is the way it is, my teeth actually ended up having more teeth. I had 6 wisdom teeth, as a matter of fact. So just a really crazy life, a really crazy thing for me and myself. Got it all taken care of over time. Military took care of a couple. Outside of the military took care of a couple. And then, of course, I just kind of slacked off for a long time, thinking I'm going to get veneers, so it doesn't matter. Nah, that's the wrong attitude to have, man. Wrong attitude to have. Maybe it's the right one for some individuals, but it was the wrong one for me. But dude, yeah, the teeth feel a heck of a lot better. Everything is, the jank breath that you may have once had goes away, so you don't have to worry about talking to somebody and being like, I wonder if they think my breath stinks. All that. Anyways, long story short, back to crypto, folks. Let's just get back into it, because people got absolutely freaking liquidated over the last couple of days. And you can see it alone just in the last 24 hours, 273 million, where 19 is coming from Solana, 52 is coming from Ethereum, 73 is coming from Bitcoin. And you can actually dive into a deeper chart too on CoinGlass. If y'all haven't checked this out, they have plenty of information for everyone to go check out. This is all free for everyone too. And you can actually pull up over the last 7 days and see where people are actually putting their money. So all these people over here on this side are all shorting Bitcoin at this point in time. Everyone over here is longing Bitcoin. And we've seen the price already fluctuate up to 74,000. And we've already seen it go down. I believe it was 60. What was it? Let me just check. 64,000. And it's not like it's that far-fetched to imagine that it goes down to 63, 62. Guys, that's well within what crypto will do. Well within reason of what crypto will do. So looking at the actual Bitcoin chart, it's doing exactly like you said. As a matter of fact, if we were to pull up just a fib retracement from its local top to the previous bottom so far, basically trying to see what we are doing and where everything is at, you can actually see we haven't fully quite even hit the 618 retracement on this one. So it's very common that when things go down, they do tend to go and touch this 618 level. It got pretty close, which is 63,843, but it looks like it has some support. Again, we're trying to see if it wants to continue rallying. One thing that I am looking at that I did notice for the first time on the daily is the Impulse MACD is showing some correction right here, showing some bearish cross on this one. When this does cross the blue to the orange, and the blue goes over the orange, basically making it like this, and then this one continues going like this, that is a bearish cross in that situation. That is showing that the price is going to continue to go down. So we haven't really been seeing that, because while Bitcoin got pretty darn close right here, this is what usually will happen right here, and then usually the price actually will keep dipping. Well, that dip didn't come. This dip never came. This should have come, but because of everything happening, whether it be the media, whether it be the ETFs, whether it be whatever the narrative was, the dip didn't happen. So it actually pushed itself even higher once again. So that is bullish for sure, but it looks like it is wanting to cross, folks. It does look like it is wanting to cross. If you, in fact, you can see it if you zoom in, we do have a cross, meaning we tend to go down for a period of time once you actually get a cross. Now, again, it doesn't last long. You can see right here, let me just kind of go back so y'all can kind of get an idea. You can see when it does actually cross right here, it was around this time frame, okay? So during this time, you either go sideways or it goes down a smidge. It's not a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't take anything crazy. But as soon as that cross goes back above, well, guess what? You start going bullish again. And that's exactly what played out. We started going bullish. We actually went sideways for a little bit, and then we kept going bullish. We just got the cross right here. So what that means to me is basically showing Bitcoin has a little bit more room to go before it's fully completed going down. Now, again, any of these ETFs can come in and just absolutely smash the price, folks. They got trillions of dollars under assets under management. Like, they have so much money, okay? Like, so much money, folks. So thinking about, if they decide that if they want to actually go buy more, they absolutely can just send the price flying, because right now they have a small portion of it, of their portfolio, maybe 1%, 2%, 3%. It's not that much. It's a very small allocation, and they can definitely increase that up higher. So keeping that in mind with Bitcoin, it's going to happen. And guess what? When Bitcoin goes down, the rest of the market tends to go down too. So Ethereum actually ended up going down once again. This is actually very good for Ethereum. One, we haven't reached the previous all-time high for Ethereum yet. So let's just kind of zoom on out a smidge. We do, I actually just pulled a fib retracement just from the all-time high to the low of the bear market, somewhere in the $800 range for Ethereum. And during that time, it came back down and retested this 618 level. The 618 is very common. We pushed through, we actually met resistance, we pushed through again, and we actually fought its way through. So that's very bullish in that regard. But guess what also just crossed over? The Impulse MACD, folks. The Impulse MACD on the Ethereum chart is also showing a bearish cross as well. So it does look like, to me, there's still some more pain to be going in the streets. I would not be going crazy with it because, again, you can see when this cross happens. It was right here during this time period. We did go down, went sideways, went up again. So it's very common in crypto that it does that. So we go down, we go sideways, and then guess what? We go up again, right? Let me just kind of move this here for a second, and then you go up again, right? That's kind of what you're looking for. That's actually very healthy market structure. The rest of the market is also following that too, with the total 3, including Bitcoin. This is the total crypto market cap, including Bitcoin, Ethereum. We got pretty damn close to hitting its previous all-time high of $3 trillion. Wow. Wowza, folks. Wow, wow, wow. On the 3 trillion for sure. That's a big number that I am actually paying attention to, because I think there's a couple of reasons for 3 trillion to be a big number. One, if you look at the overall crypto market caps from all the companies out there, Microsoft is at 3 trillion. So if you can get the overall crypto market cap above 3 trillion, which is what the high was back in 2021, that's very bullish. I also see the Bitcoin hitting a $3 trillion metcap cap by itself. That's not that far-fetched either, folks, because right now, Bitcoin's sitting at 1.4 trillion, 1.3, I guess, since we had a little bit of a pullback. Let me just kind of pull this up and we'll find out. Yeah, 1.3. So this is what the current Bitcoin market cap is at. I do see this hitting 3 trillion by itself. This gets people's attention. So why does all that matter? It matters for a couple of different reasons, because this bull market is actually feeling different than previous bull markets. And I went over this with the Patreon people as well to kind of give everyone a little heads up. And I said, look, man, in terms of what we got going on, we have a lot of different factors that have not been present in previous cycles. You have to consider that this cycle. So it could mean that we only get a 12-month bull market. Okay? Are you prepared if we only get a 12-month bull market? Because what everyone's waiting for is the halving, and that's April 15th. So we still have another month to go. April 17th, technically. We can actually find out the exact date here. Let me pull it up, and we'll find out exactly what it is. So here we go. Share. Yeah, so we have 32 days left until the halving. It's estimated that it's actually going to be on April 18th. So the way it works is it actually goes by the blocks and how many blocks have been completed in Bitcoin terms. And so you can see all the previous cycles of when the first halving was November of 2012, second one, July of 2016. And then the third one just recently was the 11th of May of 2020. And so basically every single time this goes on, this gives us a pretty good idea of how long it took previously to break the all-time high after the halving. Okay? And we've already broke the previous all-time high prior to the halving. That's never been done before. Also, another thing that's going to be factored in is the block reward. You used to be able to get 50 Bitcoin per block. Now you only get, let me just zoom on in if y'all can't really see that. Here we go. There you go. So you used to be able to get 50 Bitcoin per block when you mined it yourself. Then on the halving, it reduces it in half. Halving, you get 25 Bitcoin per block that you mined. Now you get 12.5, and then it's going to be going down to 6.25. Oh, sorry, the block reward is over here. My bad. That was pre-halving. Pre-halving was 50. After the halving was 25. I was like, that doesn't sound right. We're going down to 3. I knew that was right. So pre-halving was 50. After the halving was 25. Pre-halving was 25. After the halving was 12.5. Pre-halving 12.5. After the halving 6.25. Now we're going to go from 6.25 down to 3.125. Okay? Why does this matter? It matters for many different factors. One of them being that this time is different. Like, it is 100% different. There's never been a situation where an ETF has been approved for crypto. Okay? Like, you can get the futures and all that good stuff, but even then, they didn't really count. This is a spot Bitcoin ETF. One, there's never been an ETF approved with a limited supply. This is the first time it's ever happened. Most ETFs, when they get approved, they actually end up having more ability to print more or find more and do more and add more and all that good stuff. Well, Bitcoin is limited to 21 million Bitcoin. That's never happened before for an ETF. So we don't know how it's going to affect the overall supply and demand. The lower the supply, the higher the demand, the higher the price. Law of supply and demand economics on that one, right? Pretty easy. We've also never hit a Bitcoin halving prior to this. We've never hit a previous all-time high before a Bitcoin halving. We have this time. We didn't have the wars going on that we have going on right now. There's been some wars, don't get me wrong, I understand. But there's a financial crisis happening as well, where interest rates are high across the board for everybody. I heard Japan's finally raising their rates from negative to, I believe, 0.25. They went from negative rates and they're raising them. That's going to shock a lot of people in Japan. Another thing that's going to happen is the overall coin Fed watch tool that we look at basically shows that we have a 0% chance of lowering the rates in March. And again, we're going to get the FOMC meeting on March 20th. So in 2 days, we'll go and give a quick little recap on that as well once everything is all said and done. But right now, let me actually just kind of pull up and show y'all. You can see, looking at the CME Group Fed Watch tool, that right now, the chances of the Fed keeping the rates the same are a 99% chance. Now in May, this number used to be 60, by the way, meaning this was like in the 40s over here. People believed that we were going to get a rate cut by May. The chances of a rate cut happening now after the CPI report, after the SEP, all these things are happening, and it's raising everybody's expectations. So right now, there's even a 91% chance that we don't lower the rates in May. I don't believe we're going to lower the rates in June either. Personally, I just don't see it happening. Right now, it shows 44% chance of keeping the rates the same and a 50% chance of lowering them. I don't believe that's the case. The closer that we get to this, the further that we're going to get from this goal. So the earliest we may see a rate cut is by July 31st. At that point in time, the FOMC will have a few additional meetings. The CPI report will have a few additional data points, but things are trending back up again for inflation. It's not good. How do you get an ATX Patreon? Link down below. Simple. Patreon.com/ATX crypto if you really want to just go. So these are all data points that you can definitely see. Again, the chances that we do a 0% change in March, basically 100% at this point in time. It's very common. The Fed just looks at this and says, hey, what do people think is going to happen? And then they go off what people's emotions are. So they don't even have to really do anything. They just say, why would we lower the rates if everyone's expecting rates to stay the same? Let's just keep them the same and get more data. They're going to do the same thing in March. They're going to do the same thing in May. They're going to do the same thing in June. We may see a first rate cut in July. And then by September, we're probably going to keep flat again. Exactly. Fox says it best right there. It says no rate cuts by until second half of the year, in my opinion. My opinion too. Right? My opinion too. So in this situation, that's actually good for crypto in all reality, because once the Fed actually lowers their rates, it's pretty common that a top is in, and then things like to start going down. So the fact that they're going to remain the same, it's actually more bullish for crypto. So it's a good thing for crypto. It's a bad thing overall because everything costs more. So I get it, the dollar is worth less, but that's also why we're in crypto, for the ability to escape the dollar. It's to go make more dollars and go live a lifestyle that you may want to be able to afford the lifestyle that you want. But primarily, when you're in crypto, you hold it in crypto. You take out what you need to pay for your life because, heck, we all have bills to pay. There's things that need to be taken care of, food to eat, all that stuff. It's not easy to pay with crypto at this time. Yes, you can pay with Bitcoin in some places, but again, it takes 10 minutes to complete a transaction. And then it takes 30 minutes to actually verify that it's been approved by 3 different blocks. That's not effective. That's not efficient for any mechanism. So in that regard, it does tend to say that we are actually going to pretty much maintain where we are right now in terms of the overall Fed fund rate. Let me see if I can pull up another little indicator here. 1 second. Fund effective. Whoops. Here we go. Where are you? Let me see if I can pull up a little chart on this as well so that we all can kind of see. Where was it? This one? All right, cool. So here we go. Here we go. I'm really trying to be able to get the full map on this one here, just so that we all can kind of get a good idea over here. So basically what I'm looking at is the Fed fund rates over here, right? So the Federal Reserve basically has the rates around 5.25 right now. And when things are actually high, the market favors that. They actually favor this because it actually kind of gives some sort of certainty. When the Fed rate goes low and the 0% again, like it once was, that was also a favorable time. But this is tough because of COVID. So it's tough to kind of gauge during that time. But for the most part in crypto, we've been with a 0% Fed fund rate overall. And the market doesn't really know what to do whenever it decides to start selling. If they decide to lower the rates, people are most likely going to panic. They're going to start flipping into cash. They're going to be selling assets. They're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff because the market doesn't like that. The market does not like uncertainty. The market likes things to be a stable structure, okay? So it is very common that we actually see that kind of stuff. Now, why does all this matter? Well, it matters because if you are planning ahead for the future, the next couple years, weeks, months are very important to understand a proper plan to put in place. Because we may only end up getting a 12-month bull market right now. From February of 2024 to February of 2025 could be the top. That's a possibility. Not a guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee in life, folks. So just understand what I'm saying. Make a plan to say what you are going to do at certain levels of profit strategies. Make a plan in place. They say, when my portfolio hits this, I am doing this. And then do it. What happens so often, all the time, is we say, I'm going to sell when my bag hits 100x, or I'm going to sell when my bag hits a 10x. Okay, cool. You see a 10x in the span of, I don't know, 60 days, we'll say. Are you really going to sell at that point in time when you've seen it go up 10x in 60 days? Oftentimes, the answer to that is no. It's more often than not that you end up getting people who basically just, get greedy, we can call it, right? Greed starts kicking in. You say, why would I sell at the 10x whenever I could just wait a little bit longer? Just a little bit longer. I don't need much. I just need a little bit more. A little bit. It's always a little bit more, right? Always. I'll sell when it hits 12x, 15x, 20x. I'll sell on the next double. And then from that double, you never see it. And then you have to ride it all the way down. Because most oftentimes you say, well, I didn't sell at the 10x. Why would I sell at the 5x? Why would I sell at the 2x? Why would I sell here? I'm going to wait for it to go back up. And then you just have to ride that wave again until it goes back up again. So if you took profits along the way in a proper way of the 5 P's, proper preparation, preventing poor performance, the 5 P's set you up for success. You say, I am doing this when things do this, and then just do it. It's that simple. When your portfolio goes from 10K to 100, do you have a plan? When it goes from 10K to 500, do you have a plan? Because it's easy enough right now when the percentages are 25% dips, 30% dips, and your portfolio goes from 10,000 to 7,500. It doesn't really hurt as much. It may hurt some. It gets you emotional and all that good stuff. But when your portfolio goes from 500 to 300, and you're like, dude, I just lost 4 years worth of work if you make 50,000 a year. It hits different. I'm just telling you now. So do you have a plan in place to say, when things hit certain levels, I am doing X? And then just do it. It's that easy, y'all. That simple. I got set strategies that say, if 2024 and 2025 and we only get 12 months of a bull market, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I got strategies that work all the way up and then all the way down. It's beautiful. But do you? Because that's what really matters at the end of the day. Let's take a look over at the PulseChain ecosystem, why don't we? And have a little fun there. We'll get back to the chat in just a moment as well. So in the last 24 hours, people have been kind of freaking out because this is what's been happening in the last 24 hours in the PulseChain ecosystem. Pulse is down 28%. PulseX is down 33%. Inc is down 28%. HEX is down 22%. Everyone is just losing their mind right now, folks. Everybody's just freaking out. And that's okay. You got some people who are brand new to crypto. You got some people who have never been in this market before. It's going to happen. Dips are in the game. It is possible. You also see people sharing charts like this, where we actually had a pulse chart just a moment ago. Let me hide this for a second. And we broke below a previous support level that we were holding for quite a while. In all reality, we were holding this from the beginning of the year, we'll call it, right? From January, we've been holding this support, and we've been above it and making higher highs and higher lows. Well, what just happened over the last few hours, days, weekend, whatever you want to call it? What happened? Well, that was that dip that you just saw moments ago. In the last 7 days, it did a 30% dip, right? And so people were just like, oh my gosh, we've fallen below. That's it. That's the end of the market. That's going to happen. Guys, you got to understand, 30% dips happen in crypto all the time. And when your portfolio is a smaller portfolio size, yes, you may feel affected by it. But when your portfolio is a larger portfolio size, let's just say $1 million, for example, for ease of math, when your portfolio hits that $1 million and you drop 30%, you went down $300,000. To some people, that will absolutely wreck you, and you will start making irrational decisions. You will sell your whole bag. You will do a whole bunch of stuff because you didn't properly plan to set up what you would do in certain levels. So I tell you this because 30, 40, 50, 60% dips are in the game, guys. Happens more often than you can imagine, as a matter of fact. More times than not, I think on average there's at least 4 dips in a cycle of 30% or more on the average overall crypto. I'm just making a broad statement right now. So just like Bitcoin did its 15% dip, I can see it going down and doing a 30% dip. When Bitcoin drops 30%, the altcoins will drop 60, 70% in some situations because people panic. And that's okay. That's a better buying opportunity. What is the saying? Be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful. Where's the greed index sit right now? It sits on extreme greed. Extreme greed. Be fearful, y'all. Like, just be ready for this. This is very good to understand the market sentiment, because when you're down here in extreme fear, you should be scooping that up. You should be buying as much as you can. You should be greedy when others are fearful. And now things have basically hit certain levels. Again, Ethereum hit its 786 level prior to Ethereum hit the 786 level, which, by the way, if you don't know, that's a level a lot of people will look at and take profits on. This is when you see Ethereum go from its previous high to a low, and guess what? It hit the 786, and that's exactly when the dip came, folks. Exactly when it happened. This is what happens more often than not, because people understand this is the first good profit-taking level. Shit, you could even say the 618 could be the first one in all reality. But if you were buying down here and you were buying Ethereum down here, you've seen a 3x here. So what happens? Well, you take some profit off the table. Okay? And then if it happens to go a little higher, you take a little bit more profit off the table. And then if it goes lower, guess what you can do with that profit that you took off the table? You can buy back in. If it goes lower, you can buy back in. So we got pretty darn close to retesting out the 618 level, which, by the way, this line right here is the 618. It's very common on dips that we actually do touch the 618 level. So I would see Ethereum coming back down and touching the $3,300 mark for Ethereum. This could be a level of support. It could also be a level of rejection where we actually bounce under and go down. Now, we went up in such a fast-paced manner, it's tough to determine where the level of support is, right? Because you can go here, and we could keep going higher. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correction. You could see it go just like this. Or you could see it go with a little ABC correction where we went down, we go up, we go down again, and then we go up, and then we find a little market correction before we actually go up. Very common to go test the 618 though. So I'm looking at that. I see Ethereum going and touching out the 618. Personally, that's just my thought. Now, if the ETFs want to come in and start buying it up, guess what? They're going to come in and start scooping it up, and there's nothing that we can do about it because they got more money than all of us have combined. They have trillions of dollars, trillions under management, trillions with the T. That's like imagining fathoming just $1 billion is a lot. They got 999 of those suckers. They got a lot of billions. A trillion is a crap ton of money, and that's what people are looking at. So anyways, what we got going on with the RSI over here, this is on the 4 hour. Let me switch it up to the daily. On the RSI for the PulseChain chart, we are actually in an oversold situation. We actually flipped in a bullish side. So I could actually see PulseChain finally forming a bottom over here at this point in time, finding some support around this level. We did make, in fact, a lower low. So that is something to keep in mind. We did make a lower low for this situation. So if it wants to make a lower low, that is fine. The idea is that we always look for previous levels. This is a previous level here. This is a previous level here. And this is a previous level here. So we're retesting out a previous level of support that we have found. Does it hold this line of support? If it falls below it, it's most likely going to this line. If it bounces off that and recovers, then so be it. So we actually saw the momentum candle, big ass momentum candle right here. That is showing that people want to push the price down. They tried pushing it up with the long little wick that you can see right there. Didn't quite get it pushed up, and then we actually went down. The 9 EMA actually crossed below the 15 EMA. So if you are paying attention to these indicators, this is that little first indicator showing that we were most likely going bearish on this day for a period of time, and that is okay. Dips are in the game. Do you have a plan in place to take advantage of the dips, or are you just going to cry about the dip? If you just cry about the dip, that's fine, but just understand that dips are in the game, y'all. It happens. It's very common to actually end up happening too. So keep that in mind. The first level would be a nice little price of 301218. We're basically there right now. We're at 301235. The next level, 3 zeros and a 1. This is basically SAC price. You can't see SAC price right here. I would find that to be a massive level of support. If it does decide it wants to fall through it, well, you look here next. But make a plan. So if you took profits on the way up, because you have to understand, folks, look at this. This is a full chart. Zoom out is what they say, right? During this time from the low, this sucker has gone and done a 6.2x from the bottom. 6.2x in 194 days. Congratulations. Okay? Congratulations. But what's that also mean? It means people are going to take profit. And if you took profit along the way, you can use that profit to buy back on these dips. That's the whole purpose of taking profit in the beginning. It's not really you can take profit to cash out. There's many different meanings when people say take profit. My way of taking profit, or when I say it, it's to cash out into a token that you think is going to be somewhat stable, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's USDC, whether it's a stable coin, whatever the case may be, and use that capital to buy the dip with. That's what I'm doing. I took profits 2 times with PulseChain. I took profits 2 times with PulseX, and it's beautiful. And then I use it to buy the dip with. Okay? You got to find your own strategy of what makes sense for you, though. And again, I give everyone a little heads up of when I'm actually buying and doing all that good stuff through my Patreon and Telegram as well. So again, I would not join in just because I'm not making these crazy moves. I don't make fast plays or anything like that. I let things play out. I'm in the yield farm protocols like we went over on the Pulse Nation stream yesterday. I'm in the yield farm protocols where I earn additional yield that way. I get the yield, I go buy more tokens, or I just keep it in the farm, or I harvest. My plays are very slow, methodical, drawn out. I do not make emotional decisions when the market is freaking out. I let things kind of calm down, let things subside. Once things start to calm down, then I jump back in, figure out where I'm going to be doing. I formulate a plan during that time. I try not to let my emotions get the best of me, folks. We're creatures of emotions. So I've been burned too many times where I've jumped whenever I had some crazy news, some fear, some FUD, whatever the case would be, whether it's FOMO or actually FUD and the price is going up or down. I've been on both boats where I'm like, see the price start going up and you're like, I'm getting in, I'm going to miss it. I tried moving into Coinbase and I waited 7 days and I've been there before, been there, right? And what I mean by that is what happens 9 times out of 10 is you get your paycheck, you put it into Coinbase, you have to wait, whatever, or you just have to wait in general from your centralized exchange to move it into your wallet. By the time you move it into your wallet, you're like, okay, cool, I'm just buying, I'm FOMOing in, boom. I don't want to miss the next rally. As soon as for whatever reason you decide to go all in and YOLO that one play, the price dips. Happens so often, and I feel like someone's looking over my shoulder waiting for me to just YOLO in. Because when I do it, that's when the price starts dropping. So I've learned to get my emotions under control. If I want to get some, allocate some. If you've been waiting for 7 days and you just want to get some, put a portion of it to go allocate some. I'm not saying don't do that. Get your foot in the water, right? Dip your toe in. See how wet, see what the temperature's like. But when you jump straight in, expect a pullback, man. That's all I'm just going to say. It's weird, but the market does a weird thing. Same thing on FUD. If the price is dropping, you're like, man, I could sell now and I could just buy in more whenever it's later. As soon as you decide to sell that bag now and in the drops, boom, price just shoots up. And you're like, what? I just had to wait. It's always, I wish I would have. I wish I could have. The I wishes. Try to avoid the I wishes as much as you can. Try to make emotional plays. And hey, guess what? If you miss it, it's okay. It's okay. Like, understand that too. So that was the price of PulseChain. Let's look at PulseX real quick. And then I got to go through the chat as well. So I'm going to go through that in just a moment. But looking at PulseX right now, we did fall below the trend line for a period of time over the last weekend. And we actually started bouncing above it, retesting this trend line again. And we are currently below it. So typically when that happens, What have I talked about? It likes to test the 618 level. What are we at right here? A 618 level. So if the price wants to dip down, well, that's going to be my first level of support that I'm going to be looking at. 4 zeros, 4.8, 4 zeros, 4.9, somewhere in this region, in this range. We did just get a bearish cross, that 9 crossing below the 15. We just got the cross right there showing we do probably have some more bearish coming, okay? Now, it could go sideways. It could do this for a period of time, and we could just play in this little sideways game, or it could go up and bounce this. This trend line could now be a resistance line, so it would just bounce in here and then come back down. That is perfectly possible too. All of this is possible because what I'm looking at is the RSI down here. The RSI is actually, and this is a stock RSI if you've ever curious, the stock RSI is showing that it wants to flip bullish again. Not quite. You can kind of see what happens when it does this though. It flips bullish, doesn't quite flip bullish, flips bullish. We get this price action where it just kind of goes sideways. And then as soon as the actual RSI goes out and breaks out, that's when we get the pump up. Usually during that time period, we stay here for about, I believe it's 7 days is what I've kind of looked at so far. So when we do fall below it, this was as of the 16th, it's probably around March 23rd before I see something really happening. Just my 2 cents, just my thoughts of what I see happening. We have the FOMC meeting on the 20th. We have a full moon happening pretty damn soon after that. Full moon cycle. And then I just saw the wife message, so give me one moment. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. The puppy's just sitting outside the door. I got a puppy right here. By the way, the dog just had some surgery on his paw. He had this little growth on his paw, so we actually had to get some surgery done right in the middle of his paw. So he's hanging out with me in here with the cone on his head, looking like a cutie. I would show you, but he's napping right now, and so I don't want to disturb him. There's no need for disturbing. Full moon calendar phase. All right, what is today? The 18th of March. So we actually get a full moon on March 25th. By the way, if you don't know and don't understand why I'm even asking what the full moon is, typically around this time, you get some full moon bearish energy that happens. So you can say, give or take, 3 to 5 days before or after a full moon. And then on new moon phases, you end up getting a nice little bullish indicator, a nice little bullish phase. So we'll see what ends up happening overall. I hear a storm happening right now, so we may just get kicked off on stream. Who knows if the internet just decides to cut out. But if it does, know that I still all love every single one of you. And just a heads up in case it does decide to happen. So this is showing us that we may end up going back down. I can see us going down. If this stays flat like it is right here, that tends to be, what the heck? Get off whiteboard. What the heck? So if this actually stays flat like it is right here, that would be basically a doji engulfing. So what would happen would be like this. It would be this red candle, a flat candle, and there'd be another red candle. Like that happens so often. Whenever you end up getting this kind of structure right here, it's called the doji engulfing candle. And it basically shows that once again, we have some more bearish energy coming. Just a heads up, guys, get your freaking head in the game, though. Do not fudge yourself out. Don't try to also be a trader, selling here, trying to expect to buy in right here. Because this thing, with the whale coming in, for example, could just pump the price out of nowhere, and then you're gone, okay? With HEX, what we got going on with HEX? This is HEX on PulseChain. We have the current price sitting at 1.4 cents. We have fallen below all previous structure as well. It hit a high at one point in time of almost 3 cents. During that time, it's actually dropped 50%. So what have we talked about in the past? That 50% dips are in the game in crypto. It is very common. It does happen. So people were buying in, aping in, YOLOing in right here, only to get a 50% correction. Even right now, it's still a 51% dip. So basically, people were trying to make this play happen, and they were like, dude, I'm going to go in on the PHEX because people, Richard Hart said PHEX was the way. And so they YOLO in right here, and they go, do, and they put their whole bag right here during this little wick. And then all of a sudden, as I told you earlier, you had money sitting on your centralized exchange waiting to come over so you could buy this, and you could get into the rally and catch this whole move. and then you finally got money in and you finally got everything and it was just perfect timing and you got everything completed and then it drops. I've seen this so many times, man. So just have a level that says, hey, I'm going to get in with some right here. And I'm going to get in with some more right here. And I'm going to get in with some more right here. Like, have some different strategies and levels. I always do things based on threes. So that's always been my thing. So if I end up making my first purchase over here, I'm just going to probably divide that in half or divide it by a third and see what we can do and make that by a third. And, that way I can build my position up quite a way. You can do a dynamic DCA as well. So say if you have $1,000 you want to put in, you put in $100 when things are making new local tops. That's very common. When things are pumping up like crazy, you're going to get a correction and a pullback. We've seen it with all the cryptos, but in particular, this was the most recent one that hit everybody, was the Bitcoin correction, because people were just freaking aping in right here. They're like, dude, the ETFs are buying. We don't have anything to worry about. We're good. We're Gucci. We're golden. So they were going in on here, right? Now flip this up on the daily as well, just so you can kind of see. People were YOLOing in on these plays. We broke above the previous all-time high. They're like, oh my gosh, we're going to the moon. They start YOLOing in everything right here. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You get a beautiful correction, 10, 12, 14, 15%. And I think personally, a good healthy structure would see this go all the way back down to this level, at least for the 786, at least 786 for the previous. But we do have some support around the 63. That would be the first level I would say we're go test, and then coming back down here. Again, guys, when you have trillions of dollars, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. So who knows if they want to continue buying it up, they definitely can. Other than that, though, HEX is looking like it's still kind of going sideways, right? We've kind of just been here since, really PulseChain launch, right? Like, haven't really done anything crazy. That was just a beautiful time that you can continue to accumulate. And eventually, hey, it may end up working out. It might not. It's crypto's volatile. It's everyone, you got to take your own responsibility at the end of the day. If it works out, phenomenal. If it doesn't, okay. Like, it's going to be okay. But I see it working out. I'm very bullish, but I'm also a very optimistic person. What we got for the EHEX side? EHEX is currently sitting at 2024. We did actually get some little support happening in this region. So we've actually now basically formed a support around this range right here. So if you were looking to make your first initial purchase, this could be a good level to get in. If you're wanting to get in, this was more of a falling knife pattern. Pretty scary to see, pretty scary to buy. You don't want to be buying when patterns are looking like that, but we are trying to flip into a bullish momentum right now. You can see the 9 and 15 EMA have kind of crossed back and forth. That is bearish right now as of this day, which is March 16th. So 2 days ago, we've kind of flipped bullish. This is on a 4-hour, by the way. So you can switch it up on the daily and see we've got some little structure forming in this range, okay? On the 9 and 15 EMA, we are still bearish on this one. So keep in mind, we might go lower, but it seems like we've found some pretty good support here. So if you're wanting to go in and put some capital toward EHEX, because the future is not guaranteed, we have no idea what's going to happen. If you are purchasing EHEX, for the love of all that is, do it on PulseChain. I don't know why you would pay Ethereum gas fees, because Ethereum gas fees suck. I think we can agree with that. Yeah, Ethereum gas fees are just trash. So you can actually come on into PulseChain and PulseX and buy your HEX from Ethereum over here, right? This is my dollar cost average strategy wallet. So I've actually been able to accumulate so far 168,000, purchasing $5 a day into this. I've also been able to get 13 million Pulse. I've been able to get 46 million PulseX. And yeah, looking to keep on accumulating 81,000 HEX on PulseChain. All right here, folks. If you are making that purchase, buy it over here. Once you buy a big enough stack, eventually what you'll do is you'll wait for the GUI for Ethereum to get its shit together, which right now, if you're wanting to transact, 26 GUI is the lowest I've seen in the last month. 28 as we go up, right? As it starts going up, now it's going to go 30 and all that good stuff. This is the lowest I've really seen. So if you got stuff that you're wanting to transact and it makes sense, I'm not saying go do it right now, but it could be a good time. I don't really like transacting above 20. So you can see even right here, it's basically been really above 20 this whole time, right? It hasn't dropped below 20. Now, for basically 20 days in a row, it was above 40. So ETH was not even fun, not even usable. But even right now, still costs $42 to swap a token. That's too much damn money being given to ETH fees, ETH gas fees, and all that good stuff. When, if you want to be purchasing some tokens, y'all can buy it on PulseChain. Not sure if y'all know that. You can buy your wrapped Bitcoin over here too. You can buy your wrapped Ethereum over here on PulseChain. This is where you want to be making the transactions. And then once you finally build in a big enough position, say you've been trying to get yourself some Ethereum, but let's just say you have $3,000 and you're going to get $1,000 every week for a month straight. You can go do that and you can go spend the $40, $50, $60 to buy the Ethereum right now. Or you can buy it over here where gas fees are pennies, which you can actually see by going to gopulse.com and just going to the gas fee tracker over here. You can see in order to swap, it costs a penny. In order to send PLS, 7/100ths of a penny. 7/1000ths of a penny? We got tenths, hundreds. Okay, cool. So 7/100ths of a penny. In order to send a PRC20, 2/10ths of a penny. Very, very good. You buy you buy it over here. Once you accumulate your DCA strategy, once you have your 1 ETH or whatever, you can bridge it over back to the Ethereum network at that time when the gas fees are good. Like, don't just bridge over and have over sitting on the Ethereum network. That's a dumb idea too. So anyways, that's a little heads up right there. But again, I think HEX is forming a nice little structure. Let's take a look at the incentive token because this thing drew out damn near identical to what I actually have been talking about. And again, this actually came from a few different methods. We actually used a little ABC corrections on when it was going down. The 618 was actually what we're using as support right here. Also, that was gonna be a good level of resistance. So guess what I did? I drew an Elliott wave showing the exact same thing for the impulse 1 going down for a correction, impulse 3 going down. I could see the impulse 5 going up here, which by the way, I put it at the 786 in between. So it's anywhere between $18 to $26 for the next wave for the incentive token. So if you don't have your incentive token, you can actually go earn it from farming on the PulseChain network right here, and you can put your tokens in here and farm. We went over a video on how to do that as well on the stream yesterday. You're welcome to go check it out or come into the Patreon. I'll help you out with that as well. All right. Anyways, that's a little update on what's going on in the overall ecosystem. Let me go through the chat because all right, we got Checks My Pulse in the house, dude. How you doing, my friend? Stressful struggle. I'm doing good, bro. What? Why is it showing that on the screen? Stop it. All right, cool. Hopefully that fixes it. We got Jason Smith in the house, Fox Moto in the house, AT Hex Crypto, love it. Where the fake Hex homies at? There you go. What's up, Hexicans? 5 times 5. There we go. $1,500 for a crown. Talking about the dentist stuff that we talked about just a moment ago. Lord of the Ponzi. Okay, here we go. Lord of the Ponzi says the SEC is putting a stop to Solana pre-sale meme coin meta breaking news. Yo, the SEC is just trying to stop anything they can. My God. Yeah, shout out to the hygienist for sure. Making everyone's teeth look so much better. Tam, yep, what's up? Is this real life meme? Lol. What's up, Anthony Saavedra? What up, y'all? Julian Soul, no pains, no gains. From Anthony Saavedra, absolutely. Tam says ATX is a boss. Appreciate. Anthony says truth all the time and shit. He helped me put on X or Twitter more than a few times. Really cool. Of course, Anthony. Much love to you, my friend. No rate cuts until second half of the year. 100% agree with that. How do we get into ATX Patreon? We talked about that earlier. ATX or patreon.com/ATX crypto. Or just check out the link down below. You'll see a little link down below if you want to join. Jason Smith says, I'm worried about Uncle Charlie. Lol. Presidential election will change everything with volatility. Yeah, presidential elections, man, people, they're going to say whatever they want, right? You got President Trump saying he's pro-crypto. You got President Biden saying he's against crypto. You got a whole bunch of people who are just all of a sudden mad about the, immigrant situation, the war situation. Like, all these things are going on. It's all politics. It's all garbage in all reality. Richard Hart actually came out with a really good video back in the day. I advise every single one of y'all to go check it out. It came out with a strategy of how to handle the democracy and how voting should actually be, and how it's not. And so basically it's this video right here, and shit, I could even share it in chat, for anyone who wants to go check it out. But I do highly advise going and checking it out as well. So you can actually see right here, Richard Hart coming out with another banger. Guys, this was, let me actually find the date on this. What? Theater mode. Jesus, that's what I was looking for. The date on this is, I zoomed in too much. That's why. 7 years ago. 7 years ago, this dude's been putting out content. He talks about, here's how you fix democracy. It's a 4-minute video. Let me know if y'all want to watch it. If you want to watch it, I'll watch it right now with you. But it is a fire video. It talks about better candidates, voters, and ranked voting as well. Man, if we implemented this structure in democracy, that would be glorious. Because right now you end up with two people who you don't give two Fs about. Like, I don't care about Biden. I don't care about Trump. You're putting people in office who are 80 years old, getting dementia. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? Why are we doing that? Stop it. Some of the old ways that you have, like, imagine your grandparents are like, I remember back in my day. Shit. We all have those conversations ourselves, right? Like, I was doing the heart the other day. I was doing this the other day on stream. I was trying to figure out how the new generation does it, and I still can't really figure it out. Let me actually see, because it has to do, I can't even do, my fingers don't even bend that way, but it has to do like this. My fingers don't even bend this way, y'all. So that's like tough for me to do. But apparently this is how the new generation actually makes a heart. Crazy. Same things like when you say, hey, how do you make pretend like you're talking on the phone. What do you do with your hands? People go like this now. Like this. I'm like this. Anyways, let me know in the chat if you actually want to check that out. Anyways, Core, aka Mr. Chinks, always loved ATX. Another great asset to our community. Appreciate that. We got MAGA in the house. Salute. Ado the DGen in here. When my bag hits a certain number, I'm doing XXX. Lol. 10 top. That's funny. Everyone is tired of the Richard BS. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, at the end of the day, crypto's crypto, man. Like, it's going to do its own thing regardless. It's decentralized at this point in time. If Richard was to pass away, what's going to happen with the ecosystem? You still have developers, you still have builders, you still have a whole bunch of other stuff. What's going to happen with HEX? HEX still pays trustless yield the entire time. Things work, So, like, yeah, while he can say something and make a tweet and all that good stuff, and people have the audacity to just sell their whole bag and get emotional over each other, we're less than a year of PulseChain launching. Let's just see what happens into the future. That's whenever I'll say, all right, maybe I was wrong. We don't like to pay tariff fees. Yeah, 100%. That's how it feels with Ethereum. Is the bull or bear market more difficult mentally? That's a really good question, Logi33. I want to know y'all's answer down in the comments below as well. For those of y'all who have been around, who've seen the ecosystem, who have been through, we'll say, a couple of cycles now at this point in time, what do you find to be more difficult, bull or bear? That's a really good question. I'm actually, pondering. Mentally, I would say the bull market, because you don't know when the top is in. The bear market, things just keep going down. In the bear market, things just keep going down. It eventually reaches a bottom and things just kind of go sideways for a long time. But the bear market lasts years. The bull market lasts a year, right? And so the bull market is extremely fast because greed kicks in, a whole bunch of emotions kick in, and you go, and your portfolio goes, watch out, and it just shoots up. The bear market, you watch your portfolio drop, and then you have to sit there for like 3 years. So I think the bull is tough because the money going up, when you see the portfolio going up, greed comes into play. And you watch the dips of 15, 20, 30% dips, and you watch your portfolio go from even the opposite, right? Like, let's just say you had 5 million, okay? You had $5 million. That's your portfolio. It goes up, we'll say 13%, okay? So you end up gaining $650,000 on that 13% move. But then it drops 30%, right? And then you go, okay, cool. I just lost $1.6 million. So it's like you see that gain go up and then you see the drop come. And again, it's just 30%. but the money, it will play a game on you. And then eventually you wonder all the questions that you have. Should I cash out? Should I sell? Should I do this? Should I do that? Do I do my whole bag? Do I do a bit? Do I do a portion? Oh, we're going to keep going up. We still go up. We have another 2x. We're still going up. Everyone's shouting from the roof. We're going to the moon. Everyone's doing all of that, right? So I think the bull is a little bit more dangerous mentally, because the bear at the end, if done correctly, you're kind of happy because you're just like, dude, I'll keep scooping up the prices while they're here. Because all that matters at the bull is how many tokens you have. That's it. And how do you get those tokens? Through a bear. So you buy all the tokens here. You have a whole bunch of tokens here, right? But yeah, that's my opinion. I want to know yours as well. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Yep, when Arius decides it's time, hang on for sure. When my bag dips, I tell lady to hold on for sure, but be gentle, lol. That's what you're telling her. Yeah, my wife, I mean, I got to keep her mellow for sure. ATX, what's the best time frame to use when using chart analytics? I would say daily or weekly. It allows on a longer time scale to know a better frame of mind, but looking at the 4 hour to find like bottoms, tops, and that kind of stuff are good little structures. And then you can just kind of mark it mentally or just mark it on the chart. If you are wanting to do like trading, you're on like the 15-minute chart, right? And that's on a long chart there. You're on the 5-minute chart. Trading will get you wrecked though. And especially being on a chart that small, things move way too quick. Like if you put Bitcoin on a freaking 5-minute chart, it's pretty wild. And I see people like do this all the time. Like, look how volatile this looks. This is Bitcoin. Whoops. Sure. This is Bitcoin on a 5-minute chart. You're like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? What? You're just like freaking out. And then I see people over here on the 1-minute chart. That's even crazier. You're like, oh my gosh, the 1-minute chart. Look at all these moves. This is where I got in. This is where I sold. This is where I got in. This is like, dude, that is 100% not the way to do it. Like, 100%. You can flip it up on the 4 hour if you want. This kind of gives you a good idea of saying like, okay, cool. When do I see some things kind of happening? Where do I see structure forming? It looks like structure's forming around this little range. We've kind of hit some resistance here. We found some support. So that's kind of like the first level I would just mark on the chart and just say, boom, mark on the chart. And then I flip it up to the daily. What's that look like? Cool. The daily is looking like a pretty similar thing, right? It looks like even on the daily, we've ended up hitting a close above this level. We've hit some support above this level. Flip it on the weekly and just say, okay, cool. We are definitely getting these actions to be happening. We're below this first level. Where's the next level I see? That's how it's done. If you're just kind of wanting to go through and kind of do it that way, right? But yeah, I would not go. If you're just trying to like figure out a structure, daily is a great one. With the RSI indicators, all that good stuff, right? If you're using TradingView, the Impulse MACD, incredible. If you want to know these settings, I'll put it up on screen for a second. But all you do is just change all these to blue, and then change this little thing to columns. Pretty easy, and it looks just like a MACD chart. Otherwise, you end up getting a whole bunch of extra stuff filled in. So like if this was like, it'll show like different levels of all these actions. So if I actually like, let me just kind of show you here. All right, cool. So if you look at this, you start seeing like all these other little indicators start showing up, and you're like, that doesn't really make sense. There's different colors, there's different levels. So in order to make it simple and easier for yourself, again, just make all these blue. Make them all blue. It does a pretty good job showing you which way it needs to go, what the trend's doing, how everyone's feeling, all that good stuff. And then you get some pretty good indicators. This one's showing we're probably going to go bearish for a little bit, or at least sideways. Cool. Back to the chat. And let me see. Could listen to ATX all day. Appreciate that. John East, I think so too. Interesting stuff. I must have missed. Okay, cool. I think bull. Yeah, I also think bull. Yeah, if you're long term, it's easy to be buying low. 100%, John. Just my opinion for sure. Internet has been a little dicey. ATX, not bad though. Cool. Yeah, I keep seeing a little indicator come on, and you know how it goes. You know how it goes sometimes. Yeah, because the bull market, everything just starts popping off. You could literally like close your eyes blindfolded and have a monkey throw a dart at a dartboard and be like, what stock am I buying? What crypto am I buying today? Boom. And then you buy it and it goes up another 5-10x and you're like, wow, that's crazy. That's basically what happens. So yeah, Play the video, please. All right, cool. Play a little pick me up. All right, cool. So I'll play the video. This is Richard Hart again. Awesome stuff here. And I didn't share this screen. Boom. And yeah, let me make sure you
voting for the lesser of two evils.
Give me a heads up on that. Could you hear the audio? I'll check the chat live just to make sure.
Sucks.
But
so
let me know if you can hear the chat.
A couple solutions. One,
because again, I have the Hey, anyway, just put it in the chat real fast if you can hear the audio. Before I play a 4-minute video, watching it the whole time, being like, "Oh, okay, cool, audio's perfect, perfect." Appreciate that, Prospector. Appreciate that. Yeah, and by the way, guys, Terry grinds on this one, 100%. There's a ATX crypto imposter. I finally have an imposter on Twitter, so please do not do anything that dude's trying to get you to do, because it is not me. Okay. But yeah, it's got my profile picture. They put a 0 at the end of their name instead of an O, so it's ATX crypto with the 0 underscore. Be careful, y'all. Imposters are everywhere. The scams are going to be coming out like crazy. That's another reason why mentally the bull market's scary, but neither here nor there. I appreciate that. I reported. Okay, cool. So we're going to watch Richard Hart going through. Here's how you fix democracy.
Voting for the lesser of two evils sucks. Voting for the lesser of two evils sucks. So, got a couple solutions. One, have less evil people running for office. Perhaps we attract higher quality applicants by paying a competitive wage. If you have the option of making $100,000 working for the government or $1 million working in the private sector, why would you want to get paid 10 times less? Sometimes the things that you get elected for have term limits as well. So whatever money, even if you thought it was good that you could make, you don't get to make for that long. And what about like career growth? How much more do you make as you stay in the job? Nothing? What a terrible idea. What a terrible pay structure. And you wonder why the people that run for office aren't the best the world has to offer. Well, the pay isn't commensurate with the job, right? So what else could we do in the political system? We could fix the way you vote. So right now, if you go and you vote, you write down one name for each position. Well, that's the least amount of data that I could get from you. Why don't instead I get a ton more data from you and get a ranked list? Hey, I want this guy to win, but if I can't get him, give me this guy. And if I can't get that guy, give me this guy. In everybody's ranked lists, you can get someone that everyone pretty much likes. They're number 2 or they're number 3. Instead of getting these polarizing candidates, which make it very hard to get consensus, which makes it very hard to get anything passed because you need the agreement of many people. If all you write is the one person that you like the most, well, on one party, the 51% outdoes the 49% of another party. And then we've now elected someone that half the people don't like. But if everyone is their number 2, kind of like this guy, you could elect somebody that everyone liked quite a bit, and then they could get things done. It may not have been their first choice, but it could have been everybody's second choice. So a ranked list is going to do a much better job serving the intentions of the voter than a single piece of data. So 200, 300 years ago, when these democracies decided how they would vote, they didn't have the same intellectual knowledge as to what a good voting system would look like, which is why all the political systems tend to just 2 parties, because you get competitive advantage. If you and another party can combine into one, you're going to win a lot more. Right? And it's probably not so great that it's nearly impossible for a third party to ever occur, because it's unfair to think that the range of human desire and emotion is filtered into just 2 different styles of belief, party A or party B. It's terrible. So what's the third thing we can do? The first thing was get better candidates. The second thing was have a better voting system. Now, the third thing is have better voters, which is dangerous. If you make a voting test that says only qualified, smart enough, intelligent enough to choose between a bad candidate and a good candidate, a person that can see through the bullshit and the lies that all of these candidates like to speak in order to get elected, that's the only person we're going to allow vote. That's a very dangerous test to make. If you do it wrong, you could disadvantage certain socioeconomic groups, certain races. And so the test would have to be written quite well. I would like to say that in all the other areas of life regarding profession, we have been able to make these tests fair. So if you want to be an electrician or a plumber or a hair cutter, you need to get your qualifications and your license, or you're legally not allowed to do these things, right? If electricians didn't require licenses, there'd be a lot more houses burning down, right? So if we've been able to, in other important areas of life, have a good test, out the stupids from doing bad things, maybe we can do that with voting too. There's people who have never made a good decision for themselves in their life, and now you're letting them work on your democracy. If a person's not qualified to work on cars, you don't want him working on your car. If he's not qualified to work on people as a doctor, you don't want him trying to cure your health problem. Well, then why is it that any idiot with a heart rate is allowed to vote, and we think great things are going to happen. In summary, you need better candidates chosen by a better voting system, ordered lists, and it would be great if the people doing the choosing and the voting were actually qualified to do so.
Yo, come on, guys. Tell me that wasn't fire. Tell me that was not fire. Like, that was 7 years ago he made that video, and that was back in the day. If you go back and watch some of Richard Hart's old videos, the self-help and all that good stuff, like, he used to just stare at the camera and wouldn't blink, and he would just talk the entire time, and it was just staring at the camera. It was crazy. I can't even do it because, again, I blink all the time. My eyes start watering if I try keeping them open too long. But that was one of those things that people would just be looking at. They wouldn't listen to what he said. They wouldn't listen to the message. They'd be listening to the messenger. And that's what everyone's doing right now in the PulseChain ecosystem. Everyone's doing this crazy stuff where they're listening to the messengers and not to the message. Just you got to understand the message, okay? And so, yeah, dude, 100%. Interesting, even though I'm not political. I'm not even political either. But then I heard that. This is years ago that I heard that. And I was like, dude, if he implemented that, the better person would be implemented. You'd have more people in favor of getting stuff done. You'd actually get laws passed. But instead, they love keeping everyone split. They love having a divisive nature. They love having a divisive country, which is why we end up in situations where it's 59-40 or 51-49. That sucks. Like, that absolutely sucks, right? But neither here nor there, dude. Those streams, whenever I listen to them, oh, dude, they're incredible. Incredible. Yeah, guys, I think that's going to wrap up the stream for today. So much love for every single one of y'all. So much love to everyone. I hope y'all have a fantastic day. Tomorrow, I will be coming back with another Market Pulse in the morning, hopefully this time. I do have another board and trade pup coming, so we'll see if we make it in the morning, afternoon, or evening. But until then, remain calm, keep calm, Hex on, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I was built to last when the whips are weaving. I could change the past. I'm all achieving. Got my foot on the gas, never stop competing. If you break my glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display.